What happens when you put up decent stats but your team still gets blown out by an injury-riddled opponent? Just ask Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky, who somehow managed to make a 13-point, 12-rebound performance look utterly meaningless in their latest disaster against the Los Angeles Sparks, who absolutely demolished them in yet another blowout loss. This ain't even funny no more. I know everybody think I'm about the clown and I'm about the roast. This ain't even funny no more. The Chicago Sky just lost to the Los Angeles Sparks by a score 91-78. And let's be serious here. Y'all lost to a Los Angeles Sparks team that are playing without 2 starters. The Sky are now 0 of 3 to start the season, and their last win feels like ancient history at this point, dating back to early September of last year. While the Sky can't buy a bucket, teams like the Indiana Fever are actually showing fight against championship-level competition. In fact, one could say it, generally speaking, always leads to losses. And she got, for lack of a better way of putting it, cooked, rotisseried, grilled, baked, fried, however you want to go, sautéed by Kelsey Plum last night against the LA Sparks. You know what really gets me? Angel Reese posted another double-double against the Sparks with 13 points and 12 rebounds, and somehow her fans act like that matters when her team got absolutely demolished 91-78. These numbers look decent on paper until you realize she shot just 5 of 11 from the field and missed layup after layup in the most frustrating display of basketball you'll see all season. Let's be real about what actually happened in this game. Reese had multiple opportunities right under the basket and couldn't convert them when the Sky desperately needed points. She was shooting 45% from the field, which sounds average until you factor in that most of her attempts were within 5 feet of the rim. 3 of her made baskets came from offensive rebounds, meaning she was literally cleaning up her own messes and calling it production. In short, she was collecting her own rebounds. Y'all lost to a Los Angeles Sparks team that's playing without 2 starters. The Chicago Sky, listen man, y'all the worst team in the league, bruh. Like, let's just stop playing games. This ain't even let's be funny. I'm not even joking. I'm not smiling. I don't have a single joke for you. The Chicago Sky is trash. You guys are trash. This is where it gets really embarrassing for the so-called Bayou Barbie. Those 12 rebounds everyone wants to celebrate, a good chunk of them came from her own missed shots bouncing back to her. When you're padding your rebounding stats with your own bricks, that double-double starts looking pretty hollow. Fans on social media absolutely roasted her for this performance, with one writing, "Cooked that fraud," and another desperately pleading, "Angel, have some shame, sister." Here's the thing that makes this even worse. Her teammates were getting frustrated watching easy shots clank off the rim while they fought to stay in the game. During one particularly painful sequence, you could see her teammates calling for the ball saying, "Hey, right here, I'm here," while Reese continued to force up difficult shots instead of making the simple play. This wasn't just one bad shooting night either. Reese went 0 for 8 from the field in a previous game against New York, and she's made only 1 3-pointer in 4 games this season. The pattern is becoming crystal clear that her offensive game has serious limitations, yet she keeps getting praised for putting up numbers that don't translate to wins. That strategy didn't work. Alright, they lost. They got blown the hell out in this game. Angel Reese, 31 minutes, 5 of 11, 45% from the field, and that's an improvement. That is an improvement. God. 12 rebounds, 13 points, 6 offensive boards. And a partridge in a pear tree. I mean, honestly, what is going on? What really stings is how one source described this as a worthless double-double, because it came in another blowout loss. When fans are calling your team trash and saying, the Chicago Sky should just stop playing games altogether, you know the individual stats aren't fooling anyone. Some analysts are even questioning whether she's skilled enough to be running around pretending she's Caitlin Clark's rival. These empty statistical achievements are becoming participation trophies that highlight just how broken this Chicago team really is. Here's the play that's got everybody talking because Kelsey Plum clowned Angel Reese. After this, obviously Kelsey Plum's not as tall as Angel Reese is, and she cooked Angel Reese's ass in hot grease Let's go. Pie by Stevens. Trod by Plum. When she gets by Reese, it's over. Pie by Schools. Trod by Plum. When she gets by Reese, it's over. And then hits her with the too small. This is where Kelsey Plum decided to turn Angel Reese into a social media meme with the most disrespectful gesture of the WNBA season. After blowing by the 6'4" Reese for an easy layup, the 5'8" Plum extended her arm below her hip with her palm flat in the classic too small taunt. The audacity of a guard who's 8 inches shorter telling a forward she's too small had fans absolutely losing their minds. Yeah. Too small Kelsey Plum is a badass. Let's just keep it real. She is a badass. How about a different angle on this? I'll feed. This Plum a hopping her step Plum the blow by in the let's say I'll feed. This Plum a hopping her step Plum the blow by in the let's say too small. Yikes. Yikes. Look at this. Plum backed up that trash talk with a masterclass performance that exposed every weakness in Chicago's defense. She dropped 28 points on 9 of 18 shooting, while draining 6 3-pointers and dishing out 8 assists in what became a clinic on veteran basketball. Her shot selection was perfect, her decision-making was crisp, and she controlled the game's pace like someone who's actually won a championship before. Right here, Kelsey Plum destroyed them. 6 of 10 from 3-point range, 28 points, 8 assists, 2 boards for the LA Sparks that didn't look terrible, to be honest, last night, from what I could see. I thought they looked pretty good. I mean, Rickea Jackson didn't play in this game. And Cameron Brent is still hurt. That'd be an interesting team when they get completely healthy. It's going to be an interesting squad. The moment Plum hit that shot over Reese became legendary when the WNBA itself posted about the taunt on their social media accounts. Even the league was entertained by watching this veteran guard embarrass the overhyped sophomore. The Sparks official account amplified the moment by using a photo of Plum making the gesture in their post-game message, making it clear they were proud of their guard's boldness. Those 6 3-pointers weren't just lucky shots either. They systematically destroyed Chicago's defensive rotations and showed how unprepared the Sky were for basic pick-and-roll coverage. Every time Chicago tried to help on defense, Plum found the open spot and made them pay. The crowd at Los Angeles went absolutely wild watching their veteran guard pick apart this supposedly talented Chicago team. What made this performance even more impressive was that Plum took an elbow to the nose during the game but kept playing through it. She scored points after the injury and delivered a post-game speech that showed real leadership. This is what championship experience looks like when the pressure is on. The contrast between Plum's efficient 50% shooting and Reese's struggles couldn't have been more obvious. While Reese was missing layups and padding her stats with rebounds off her own misses, Plum was making smart plays and hitting clutch shots. One player was putting up empty numbers, the other was actually winning basketball games. Plum entered this game averaging 24 points, 5 assists, and 3 steals per game, after dropping 37 points in the season opener against Golden State. Her trade to Los Angeles has transformed this team's offensive identity. Fans on social media were calling this a humbling of Reese, while questioning whether she's actually overrated. This performance proved that Kelsey Plum deserves way more recognition than she gets, especially when she's out here making players look completely lost. Guess what? Chicago's last win was way back on September 8, 2024, against the Dallas Wings. That means they've been winless for 8 straight games spanning across 2 seasons. We're talking about a franchise that has turned losing into an art form at this point. But let's be real about how embarrassing this loss to the Sparks really was. Los Angeles came into this game missing Cameron Brink, their key sophomore who tore her ACL mid last year. This was supposed to be one of the weaker teams in the league this season, dealing with major injury problems. Yet they still managed to blow out Chicago by 13 points without breaking a sweat. When you're losing to teams that are literally missing their best players, you know you've hit rock bottom. Come on, let's stop playing games. I don't know, does this coach Marsh Tyler Marsh guy, this Marshmallow do, I don't know where y'all got him from. Y'all got him from Vegas somewhere. His system looks trash. Y'all starting Kia Nurse. Right, y'all, bro, the Chicago Sky gave up the number 3 pick for Ariel Atkins. Bro, I don't even think she scored double figures yet in one game. She's taken like 4 shots per game. Y'all gave up the number 3 pick. Y'all gave up Sonia Citron for Ariel Atkins, and she's shooting like 4 shots a game, bro. What is going on in Chicago, bro? The sky's 0 for 3-star puts them in some truly pathetic company among the worst season openers in WNBA history. Most teams use the first few games to work out their problems. Chicago is using them to showcase exactly how broken they really are. You've got to go back decades to find teams that started this badly and still managed to salvage anything meaningful from their season. This is where it gets even worse for Sky fans. Their upcoming schedule looks absolutely brutal, with analysts already predicting they might not see their first win until late June. They're facing team after team that should handle them easily based on what we've seen so far. Some people are wondering if they'll even reach 5 wins total this season. The coaching decisions during the Sparks game made 0 sense either. The team looked completely unprepared for basic offensive sets. Players were running into each other, missing rotations, and generally playing like they'd never practiced together. When your own fans are calling the team trash on social media, you know the coaching staff has lost control. Kelsey Plum saying too small to Angel Reese, I love that fire. It's me bow time. Ha 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 ha. Oh God. Other teams around the league are openly calling Chicago the meme team now. Players are laughing at their struggles during warm-ups. That's the level of respect they've earned after these performances. When opponents stop taking you seriously, basketball becomes impossible. You can see this losing streak destroying the team's chemistry too. Players look defeated before games even tip off. Body language is terrible. Nobody wants to take responsibility for the mess they've created. Angel Reese keeps putting up her empty stats while the team continues falling apart around her. Chicago has officially become the league's punching bag. Every team on their schedule is circling those dates as guaranteed wins. That's not competitive basketball. While Chicago is getting embarrassed by injury-riddled teams, Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever nearly pulled off the upset of the season against the defending champion New York Liberty. Clark put up 18 points, 10 assists, and 5 rebounds in a game that came down to the final seconds, losing by just 2 points to the best team in the league. This is what actual competition looks like when you're facing elite opponents. The Fever fought tooth and nail for 40 minutes against a Liberty squad that steamrolled everyone last season. Clark's 10 assists showed her ability to make teammates better under championship-level pressure. Sure, she struggled during that game, but she kept attacking and creating opportunities when the game mattered most. That's what separates real competitors from stat-padding players who fold when things get tough. Coach Stephanie White showed exactly what real leadership looks like after the game, calling the officiating egregious and expressing disbelief at the disrespect shown toward her team. White pointed out a ridiculous 31 free throw discrepancy over their recent games, saying the lack of calls was unbelievable, considering how much the Fever were attacking the rim. This is a coach who actually fights for her players instead of making excuses. I thought she'd get back. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. About minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes. But we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing. The controversy came in the final 2.9 seconds when Clark attempted a potential game-tying shot, but got disrupted by Natasha Cloud with no foul call. Even Liberty fans admitted the refs missed an obvious call on what should have been free throws to tie the game. The fact that Indiana had a legitimate chance to beat the defending champions while Chicago can't compete with injured teams tells you everything about these two franchises. Clark acknowledged after the game that the team needs to improve consistency, saying, "That's what's going to have to happen if we want to beat the really good teams in this league." She emphasized building chemistry with new roster additions, showing the maturity and accountability that Angel Reese completely lacks. This is someone who actually cares about winning instead of just padding individual numbers. Fan reactions perfectly captured the difference between these teams. People were praising Clark's resilience and fight against championship competition while simultaneously roasting Chicago's pathetic showing against a depleted Sparks roster. The Fever have now lost 2 games by a combined 3 points, showing they're right there with the league's best teams. Yeah, and that's probably what's frustrating about it too. It's like we are 2 possessions from being 4-0, but there were so many little areas in this game that we could have improved. Like our defense again to start the game was poor. and we got to find a way to come out with more energy, be unable to guard. And yes, they present a very tough challenge when all 5 of them can make threes, and they're setting inverted ball screens, things like that. It's a challenge, but you got to find a way to do it. Real players like Clark elevate their performance when facing top competition. They don't fold under pressure or put up empty stats and blow out losses. They fight until the final buzzer and make their teammates believe they can compete with anyone. Consistency is definitely where we can be a lot better. It feels like every game we've really only put 2 quarters together. We're kind of waiting for that, 4 quarters of really good basketball, and I think that's it's going to be a learning curve. This group is new. We haven't played a ton together, so, but that's what's going to have to happen if we want to beat the really good teams in this league, is you got to find a way to put together 4 really good quarters. There's going to be runs. That's basketball. They're going to go on their runs. We got to be able to find a way to stop them and then respond. So I think that's an area we can certainly improve in. Here's the truth that nobody wants to say out loud. While Indiana is building something real with Clark and showing they can compete with championship teams, Chicago remains the WNBA's biggest punchline. Angel Reese can keep posting her meaningless double-doubles and blowout losses, but those empty stats prove that hype means absolutely nothing without wins. The Fever lost to the defending champs by 2 points. Chicago lost to an injured Sparks team by 13. That gap tells you everything about which franchise is moving in the right direction and which one is stuck being everyone's favorite punching bag this season.